We have thousands of developers out of jobs, applying to everything they can, placing their resumes into stacks of hundreds of other resumes, hoping to be that last person standing. And developers, they're worn out. They're giving up. They're settling for a smaller salary, or for those with a job, working extra hours to cover the imbalance this economy has created. But I often wonder, in all this, why isn't any alternative considered? Why isn't any longer-term play being entertained? It's almost instinct to fall back on what we know, what we expect, what we're used to or comfortable with. This means as our employer lets us go, the race is on to find a new employer. And until that happens, we have no other aim. And that period of time, as we've seen over the past year or two, can be longer than we had hoped. Well, today I want to pose the question: if you can't find a job, why not consider creating one? Your amazing talents, they aren't exclusively there just to pad the pockets of others. And the internet has really lowered the barrier to running your own business of some sort. In fact, it's often hard even to think of much of what's out there as a business in the traditional sense. Here are some wild examples. This lady makes $14 million a week showing off products for 3 seconds apiece. This dude does magic tricks and makes $17 million a year. This little 12-year-old plays with toys for $17 million a year. Making Sense of Sense, the website, makes over $1 million a year. Iman Gadzi, whatever you think about him, started a marketing agency at 16, making big money. No degree. These two teenagers are getting millions of views repurposing gaming videos and then running a big online community teaching others how to do it. And yes, those are outrageous numbers and really outliers, but here are some that hit a little closer to home. Mark Liu created a product called ShipFast that earns him $80K per month. I mean, that's what many of us make per year. It's a Next.js template to help startups get their web app off the ground quickly. I did a whole video on that. You can go check that out, link above. And then there's a guy named Zach Wilson who creates data engineering courses, makes $86,000 per month at dataexpert.io. Aaron Francis, everybody knows him, seems like a great guy, fellow developer, releases a substantial course around SQLite and rakes in over $100K in the first month or two. And look, I'm not knocking any of this. These last few examples are not scams, they're talented people creating products or teaching what they're good at and making good money for it. No hate at all, this is modern business. But perhaps these last few are still somewhat outliers for you. We just need to make like $10K a month, right? On our own terms. Well, just look at thousands of YouTube channels. Many of these people have good engagement, and with the audience they've built around the channel, they can make the same salary on their own that many full-time workers make in tech. It's been said that 10 million new YouTube channels will be started this year, which inevitably means that the competition is too high, right? Well, that's not necessarily true. YouTube has surpassed Netflix, is a search engine, has 1.5 billion users generating views on the site per day. And YouTube really isn't about the ad revenue, it's about an audience. It's about a following. And what I'm getting at here is the approach you had toward jobs in 2015 is completely different than the approach toward jobs you could have in today's economy. In 2015, who were the people streaming themselves gaming for a living? Not too many. Now it's a pretty common sight. Who would have thought 20 years ago that that would even have been a thing? In 2015, we didn't have billions of dollars pouring into AI startups, many of which are simple apps that you or I could build in a weekend. Sure, overall it's not easy, there's competition, it can take time. But I simply want to remind you that you don't have to go the route of a 9-to-5 desk job for an employer out there forever. You can, and that's good too, but you don't have to. You don't have to sit around and only apply for positions for the next 6 months until someone takes a chance on you. You ultimately don't want your employment status to be a single point of failure. I know this isn't for everyone, but the opportunity is available for everyone. You see, just because you have the title and skill set of software developer, this doesn't limit you to those isolated skills. You can do more than write code for an employer. That skill set actually opens up many other possible roles. You can build apps. You can build an app that you maintain and charge money for. You can teach others. You may live in an amazing city and have a knack for storytelling and can weave that into your craft on YouTube. You may have people all around you coming to you with problems that you can turn into a business. You may have lots of experience as a solutions architect that you can then start a consulting company with. You may have a good Twitter following that just needs a business model behind it. You may have another profession in a past life, one that you're still knowledgeable about, and have good insight into some of the pain points such that you can then use your coding skills to create a product for that industry. And what 2024 and beyond offers you is the ability to start any of these pursuits with little to no money, just time, which you have because you're jobless, remember? In fact, you could start a YouTube channel or go on TikTok or Instagram or whatever and document your now daily struggle to find a job. Who knows where that could take you? But you'll never know unless you realize that the opportunity is there. It's not an easy path, but neither is the job market, I hear. And even if you're adamant to get back into another job, who says you can't dabble in it and see where it takes you over time? As a side hustle even. Then if you get laid off again in a year from now, you have something to fall back on. All of your eggs, they're not in the same basket. Perhaps you're one of those closet developers who actually hates sitting in an office all day, or who has some other extroverted talents that could double up to propel you forward in your own venture. You have some quirky personality that those close to you love, and thus the world may just love too. I'm just trying to get you thinking. And in order for this not to be a video without some action items or practical advice, here are 3 things to think about to perhaps stir you up into exploring other avenues in your life. Number 1, think of the knowledge you have outside of coding. Maybe it's business knowledge, financial expertise, construction. Perhaps you used to be a nurse or a history teacher, and you have this insight into these industries and where the needs are, and then combine that with your ability to code a solution into existence. I've actually gotten comments saying, I've left software development and I now do plumbing or construction. That's fine, but now you could actually combine the two. As you do your plumbing and see the struggles in that industry, use your software talents to then provide digital solutions. Another tip, try to get in the habit when you're talking to people of asking, if you get on the subject of that person's job, what struggles they have or what they wish existed to better help their profession. You'd be surprised the needs that need filling out there. Number 2, start building an online presence and a following like today. The majority of social media users aren't really engaging it as a business or even with an optimal approach to gaining a larger audience. They post at random times, on random days, never engage others, and don't spend a lot of time on it. These people think the world cares about everything they have to say at random, but it doesn't. And if you just do a few things right, you will outperform 90% of the people out there. You may think there's a ton of people on YouTube and it's impossible to start a channel now, but I would have to remind you that most channels start and then die off. They post for a few weeks or months and then they stop. There's no consistency. Growing an audience or a channel or a following is as simple as being consistent, showing up on a regular basis. And this doesn't matter if it's once a week or twice a month. Just being consistent and not letting big gaps go by will give you an amazing shot at success. Then of course, great content, quality videos, etc. Now take Twitter. Just posting 1 quality tweet per day and commenting on 10 tweets a day consistently will get your account in front of a ton of people. Combine that with an authentic take in whatever you're talking about and the lack of hesitation to post convicting and often divisive content, and you will grow. You have to. I started my YouTube channel in 2017. I posted sporadically whenever I felt like it on topics that no one cared about, and sometimes I went 6 months without a video. All the way until 2022 when I started taking it seriously. I decided to post 1 video a week, and I decided to treat it not as a side hobby, because we can only do that so long, but as a business. Thus, I did more research as to my video titles and content. I looked for more ways to make money doing it, scheduled everything, outsourced the things I don't like, and literally there was 1 video that catapulted me like 40,000 subscribers within a month or 2 after publishing it. My channel took off and I was able to sustain a good income from it. It took a lot of time such that I couldn't continue working my job then as a developer relations engineer and run the channel full time, so I, as anyone else would do, chose my own path. That's where I'm at now. I may down the road take another job out there, who knows? But over time, with consistency, I've built up an opportunity that can run alongside or fill the gaps if I didn't have a job or if I lost my job. And there's an opportunity out there for any of us who seek it with the right plan and execution. Now, YouTube's not really the fastest way to make income. In fact, the average, if you're consistent, is like 18 months before you can make a somewhat livable income. But most developers who create a product or a service or a business of some sort just use YouTube as an additional route to reaching more people. That's number 2. Number 3, and I can't emphasize this enough, it costs nothing or very little to get started. Static websites can be free. A YouTube video can be filmed with your cell phone. Promotion for your new digital product can be marketed via free social media. You're unique in some way. You have some skill set that others don't have or others can't do like you can. If you want to continue to job hunt and work in an office, that's fine. You get paid vacations, benefits, perks, and most importantly, consistency in pay and execution. I'm all for that. But I just want to stir your thinking such that you begin to see the other opportunities that lay in wait out there. Opportunities that allow you to express some of your other skill sets and put you in charge of your days and years and income. Now, I love coding, I really do. But I hated that to be the only thing I do. I like to create content. I had to create content. I had a ton of creative ideas in my head that I couldn't express as a developer. That's why I got into developer relations. It put me into communities. It allowed me to create tutorials, videos, write articles, and do live events. But alongside that, I also knew that there were other opportunities available. And those opportunities are available for you as well, if you want it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. And for anyone out there that's feeling lost in their career or calling, here's a recent video I published that will help you identify the 3 main components you need to get you moving forward again with confidence. So go and check that out. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing so, and I'll see you in the next video.